This is easily the toughest battle, I think, in my opinion, in this game. The projectile fireballs that he shoots out are the most annoying part of it. I suggest, you know, either staying either on the left or right wall. I usually left is my preferred spot, and jumping off at him to do damage. If you stand at the right spot, when he comes back left and right, he won't hit you, but a lot of times it's hard to time your jumping, especially since you can't scale the wall easily. But you want to jump at him when you can, and more importantly, just don't take too much damage from the fireballs. I would focus more on them than actually trying to do damage to them. One of the other pain-in-the-butt things about the game in general is that there is a time limit, so you can't take too long when dodging the items and trying to hit him. As he only has a couple more hits, and he still does a little bit more damage. Now one more hit left, and there we go. He explodes into a fireball of death. And now we have one more cutscene. Now, of course, before we can leave, we're supposed to destroy the statues. If, you know, you had to make sure we got rid of them before the black moon shines. Well, that's the eclipse. And, who'd have guessed it? As soon as we're getting ready to destroy them, we've beaten the boss, the eclipse starts to happen. So now that the moon is going to be eclipsed, the statues are in place, and now we're going to have to deal with the ultimate evil as the two statues react. And here we go with the final battle. To start off the battle, jump up and attack like the head. You won't be doing any damage to it, but you have to take that out first because your main goal is like the big heart, you know, red glowing sphere in the middle. After you hit it a few times, it falls off. And now it comes down to doing damage to the centerpiece here. The best way to do it is you want to jump, and like when you jump forward, you want to hold in the back button as well. Like kind of step backwards from it so that the tail doesn't end up doing damage. Focus, you know, mainly on the tail, and of course the projectiles coming out of the top can do a lot of damage to you. But usually they're pretty easy to manage. It's taken care of, and now the final boss is defeated, and here we go with the cutscene, the final cutscene of the game, the ending of the game. And all the cutscenes being pretty, you know, good in length throughout most of the game, you can definitely expect the final cutscene of the game is very lengthy. Actually, one of the longest endings in the NES between all three Ninja Gaiden games. Definitely have some of the longest endings of the NES era. Ryu's father, unfortunately, did not make it after the projectile hit him as he was trying to protect Ryu. We now see the big temple, the big castle, start to crumble. It explodes, it blows up, and it's going to slowly fall apart. Very reminiscent of Dracula's castle from Castlevania, which has collapsed so many times. But there's just something about the Ninja Gaiden final temples, and especially some of the other ones in the other games, that they fall so much slower, I think, than Dracula's castle. It's like a much more epic, slow, you know, crippling defeat as the castle slowly crumbles, much slower than any building probably should on an NES game. But as the castle does fall apart, we scroll over and we get to see Ryu with the CIA agent who captured us at the beginning of the game. And this is the first time that we really get to see Ryu and her kind of interact in kind of a peaceful area where they actually can talk to one another. But before too long, she gets a message from Foster, the CIA agent, who says, you know, we saw that it was, the place has collapsed, but now you have to kill Ryu. And not surprisingly, the CIA is evil, waiting for Ryu to do their dirty work, and then for Ryu to be killed so that they can get a hold of the statues. Ryu now has like a nice dramatic scene here as he explains that he's also actually already received his payment, as he throws away the communicator that she had, and now she's asking, what was the first payment? We have this big classic romantic 8-bit scene. So even though she was sent to capture us, and even though she was supposed to kill us, Ryu and, we find out, Irene have fallen in love, and Irene becomes the main love interest of Ryu throughout the Ninja Gaiden NES trilogy. And we see one last scene. The tower has completely collapsed, and we see Ryu, our hero, and his now found love interest, Irene, one last time as the sun rises. And now we'll fade out to go to the credits. So there you go. There is Ninja Gaiden 1 on the NES. Definitely one of the tougher games. I've been working on it for many months, trying to complete a no-death run of Ninja Gaiden. I know some people have completed the game with not even taking a hit, which is much more kudos to you. I tried, and there was no way. I can get through a few levels sometimes without taking any damage, but for the most part, the game's very tough to get past a lot of the areas. As we get to see the credits show little kind of clips and little cutscene snippets, little pictures from the cutscenes that we saw throughout the course of the game. Now, Ninja Gaiden 2 is my personal favorite of the three, and like I said, I'll be doing that next week. And that's actually, I think, tougher in some ways from Ninja Gaiden 1, but it's all up to debate. Whatever one's your favorite, doesn't matter. I know Ninja Gaiden's probably, the first one's probably the most popular, but either way, they're all great games. Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 play very similar to one another. It's kind of like the Mega Man-esque games, where you have Mega Man, 2, 3, and so on. Like, a lot of them play the same, adding certain things. Like, as they got later on, they did change a little bit, and they had like a different look to them, slightly different look. Ninja Gaiden 3 has a much different look, and a much different feel, I think, than Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. And we'll get to that in just 2 weeks. So next week will be Ninja Gaiden 2. Now there's the end screen, of course, thanking us for playing this game. And as it thanks me for playing, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition of Play It Through. And of course, I hope you enjoyed.